Hey everybody, it is Kulipup here again, and we are going to be going through anger today. Anger in terms of what we are doing, what is triggering our anger, how we can control our anger, and what I've got here is a list of all of the individuals. This should be ready to go. Yep, there we go. We are going to be going through... Sorry, I had this here. Okay, so I made a post a day and a half ago or so, which was angry a lot. What pushes your buttons and how do you react? Truthfully. Okay. And this is, of course, just reading out those comments and my responses to those comments, so that we can all, again, learn from each other, learn together, and see if we can kind of get this anger under control and get ourselves under control. Hi, Iris. Right. So let's get started. Now, I'm just going to be reading these comments off of where they are and just kind of putting my 2 cents into them. We do have a full 10 to get through, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so first, now I'm not going to read out the names, by the way. I'm not going to read out the names. I'm just going to read out literally just the comments itself. Okay, first comment was, I'm not sure what pushes my buttons exactly, but when I get angry, I yell or slam doors, and I want to be on my own. To calm down, I'm not sure how to release angst in a healthy way sometimes. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Now, if you are an individual where you find that literally you have buttons, but you're not aware of what it is that has pushed those buttons, right? That is hard to go through. Because it means that you're completely out of control. Just completely out of control. Because what happens is that if you have buttons that are being pushed and you don't know what those buttons are, that means that any situation is kind of... Okay, I'm going to put it in this kind of way, or in this term. It's like you have a code in your energy. Now, as you were growing and as you were developing, your code got rewritten quite a few times. However, specifically, when you have a button that has been pushed, you specifically then have programmed into you a specific feeling, okay, that you attach to a certain circumstance, a certain circumstance. And we got to find that out, what that is. Now, you get angry and you yell and you slam doors and you want to be on your own to calm down. Well, that's very good, for one. That is very, very good if you are just like, you know what, I recognize that something's not good here. I need to be on my own, and that is what you should do. So what is my advice to help you to release this in a healthier way? Well, inner work, of course. I'm always and forever advising inner work. And again, the inner work is to discover what those buttons are, discover what programming you are responding to that is causing you to just kind of be out of control and blow a fuse in that sense. Right? So inner work is definitely required on that one. Okay. So people not listening, kids, partner, just anyone really. I take so much, then flip, anger, yelling, screaming, releasing it all in one go, then I'm right. Over and done with, get on with the rest of the day. So with this one, what I'm feeling more so than ever is that if you are angry because people are not listening to you, right? That means that you are suppressing yourself. And you're also, not only are you suppressing yourself, but you are taking their opinion as valid fact. Okay? Because that's what happens. When we have an expectation of people, and we have an expectation. We have an expectation of ourselves as to what we produce to the world, in terms of how we believe we should behave, and then we place those expectations on other individuals. And when those other individuals do not live up to our expectations, sorry. Oh, Kelsey, not to worry. You say, hey, Kulipup, I didn't hear my hard truth, but since we were talking about anger, that is something else I am working really hard on, and it's hard to control, especially in the moment. How do you control it while in the moment? That is a wonderful question, Kelsey. That is an absolute wonderful question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this comment first, and then I'm going to go straight to yours, though, because that is a great comment to actually to go forward with. So with this one, though, we were talking about people not listening to you and how that is actually relating to the fact that you are not feeling that you are respected. You're expecting an individual to react to you in a certain way. Now, to stop you from flipping and going into the anger, the yelling and the screaming and releasing it all, because again, this energy that you've built up, because again, you are expecting somebody to respond to you in a way that you deem acceptable, and because they didn't, you're getting really pissed off. The best way to approach that is to simply switch your perspective and understand that nobody's opinion nobody's opinion is valid besides your own when it comes to yourself. So if you were telling an individual about something to do pertaining to yourself and you got angry because they weren't listening, well, if it pertains to yourself, you don't really have to seek approval or judgment from anybody else in the first place. Now, if you were telling an individual, right, trying to educate them in some kind of way or give them some information, and you expected them to respond in an appropriate manner that is, suitable to whatever your expectations are as an adult, and they didn't do it, right? Well, then, my love, what you need to do is understand that nobody has an obligation to live up to your expectations of behavior. Okay? Now, I know you may say, well, I can't get my point across then, Kulipup. I can't. How do we make this work? Well, the fact of the matter is, it is about acceptance. It's accepting that this individual does not have to live up to your expectations. When you understand that, then you are able to be in that situation and not be affected by people not listening to you in that sense. And then, but now, don't get me wrong, you build up a lot of energy, a lot of this fear energy, this emotional anger, frustration, and so forth. It builds so much, and you do need a release. So if you do find that you have built up this anger, yeah, the best thing to do is to go be by yourself, cry it out if you need to, release the emotion before you make any solid decisions moving forward. Okay, so that's what I say there. Kelsey, though. Kelsey, my love, you have said, I'll just read that again, just for anybody who's new, who's joined. By the way, hi Stacy, Desea, Lisa, nice to have you here with us. So you said, hey Kulipup, I didn't hear my hard truth, but since we are talking about anger, that is something else I'm working really hard on, and it's hard to control, especially in the moment. How do you control it while in the moment? Okay, so how do I control my anger specifically when I'm in the moment? Me personally, I don't have any expectations on anybody. I don't like stagnation, okay? When there is angry, if there is turmoil that is within me at a certain point, I look at that turmoil as something I need to address, something that I need to, okay, turmoil doesn't feel good to me. Anger doesn't feel good to me. So what I do is I simply look at the situation and say, what is it right now in this moment that is causing me to be so upset? And I look at it as a problem that needs a solution rather than a personal dig at myself. Okay, regardless of what it is. Or put it this way, I look at all things that make me angry as an opportunity for development. Okay, so that's basically what I have. An opportunity for development. That's how I control my anger in that moment. Because I don't want to freaking feel like this. I don't want to be pissed off. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be frustrated. So I'm like, okay, if I am pissed off and angry, what's the lesson? What lesson am I learning right here in this moment? If my beloved Lip-Up, my beloved twin, don't get me wrong, we're twins and we are remarkably in love. But there are some days when he will be out doing his business, like working all that kind of jazz. And he'll come home and he'll be in a really shitty mood, right? And because we're empaths, I'm then feeling like I'm in a shitty mood. And it's just like, what the shit? And it doesn't feel nice because he's also an incredibly powerful empath, as am I. So I can feel frustrated and I can feel anger, but as soon as those feelings pop up, I'm like, hey, wait a second. Why? Why am I feeling angry? And I ask myself this. How can I develop in this moment? So, Kelsey, that's how I deal with it, personally. I hope that was a personal question, but we'll see. Lisa, it sounds like you were speaking to me, so I guess you were. Thank you. Yes, I said hi. Wonderful. So, let's move on then. Jacqueline. Sorry. I shouldn't say names. I wasn't supposed to say names. I apologize. So, this is not Jacqueline. I'm just joking. It is. The next comment was, liars make me angry. I give them a look and leave them be. Do that a few more times and you're gone from my life. Yes. And I can relate to this one very, very well. I cannot stand lies and deception. Can't stand it. How do you deal with lies and deception? Right? When you are with, hi Lorna. When you are with an individual, right? And they are literally lying to your face and you see it, you know it, you feel it. And all you can feel in that moment is anger as to the, well, for me anyway, it was always, again, in lower frequencies. You do know I know you're lying, right? So do you believe I am that stupid that I cannot see through your lie? That was the kind of feelings that I was getting when I approached people who would lie, or just deception in general. How did I control this, or what is my recommendation for you? To simply understand that if somebody is in your face lying, they are in your presence because you have allowed them to be in your presence. Simply just remove yourself from the situation. There is nothing wrong with going, sorry, I'm not really resonating with what you're saying. I'm going to go over here now. Okay? Nothing wrong with doing that. Nothing wrong at all. Because if you were to proceed to give in to this liar, to give in to this deception, you would then start to trigger emotions and feelings within yourself that will be based off of a lie. Now, if you're basing any of your actions, decisions, or thoughts on a lie, all that will equal out to is a negative result. So, instead of getting to the point where you are going through a negative result, just be like, you know what? I'm going to push you to the corner. You can come back and talk to me when you speak the truth. But right now, I know you're lying. I can feel it that you're lying, and I'm out of here. All right? So that's what you can say in terms of those guys. Okay, I've got a few more questions here. Let's have a look. Oh, Kelsey, and he says, it wasn't a personal question, just a question, but how one controls it because it is brutally hard. Yes. Oh, good. I'm happy that that gave you a little bit of guidance there, Kelsey. Because I know it's just like, whoa, sometimes. But yes, no, anger in the moment is all about control, though. And it does depend on the situation at the same time. So I'll just elaborate on your question there, Kelsey, as well. So if you are angry in the moment, okay, and it is, for example, you are walking down the street and you see a mad injustice happen and you get real pissed off and you want to go and confront that to stop that injustice, there is nothing wrong with that. So please get angry in that moment because it is a force of change that needs to be happened. You've seen a pattern that is wrong and you're trying to change it. So yes, get angry and do your best to put a stop to that, right? Because that's the only way change happens. Otherwise, people don't get angry enough and they just walk on by and let so much abuse happen, right? However, if in the moment you are, let's say, having an issue with your spouse, with your family, with your friends, okay? Well, one, you have to remind yourself in that moment when it is brutally hard that, one, is this person, do they truly love me? Are they here for the betterment of myself, for the betterment of my life? Am I here to contribute positively to their life? Okay? So if the answer to that is yes, then you have to reevaluate and just be like, okay, this person is in my life and loves me, and I love this person. So the fact that we're getting mad right now is more based off of a miscommunication or misguidance rather than a place of wanting to cause harm or dismay or despair. Okay? So if you can clock that part in that moment, you can almost simmer yourself down and just be like, hey, you know what? I love you, you love me. I need to get my head right in this moment. I'm gonna just take a seat. Okay? I'm just gonna take a seat. So Kelsey, you say, just triggers past life repeating itself. I was talking to my counselor about my daughter's back after explaining for 2 days what happened because she wanted to see if I changed the story. I felt, okay, sorry. To see if oh, right, okay. So your counselor, you were talking to your daughter 2 days ago about what happened, and she wants to see if I change the story. So yeah, that is when you are putting your trust into somebody else because you are seeking guidance, and that person has just then come over and stomped their feet on your trust and on your opinion. So again, Kelsey, in that situation, in that moment, when you feel your blood boiling, right, because of this other individual's opinion, or what you feel that they are trying to do, instead of letting your blood boil, you did exactly what you did. You told her to go. Exactly. And just be like, you know what? I don't appreciate what you're saying and what you're doing. I know what the issue is, and I trust myself. So thank you very much. Be on your way and good day. Right? So I can understand that one. Definitely. But you always have to go by facts and truth. Right? Facts and truth. That is how you diffuse anger so quickly. When you base your actions, when you base this emotion of anger on a truthful statement or fact, you do not feel bad about it. You feel in control, and it is a force of movement, and it is a force of creation at that point. But if you're basing your anger off of a lie, it will not be resolved. It will go on loop in your head. Your blood will boil. You will get all of these emotions that cannot be expressed or released in a healthy way because you are basing them off of a lie. The only way you can tell whether it's a lie, whether it's based off lie or whether it's based off truth, is if you, one, do your inner work to understand yourself and to understand your motives and where your truth lies. And two, sorry, totally lost my train of thought there. All right, but I hope that helped. That was terrible. That was terrible. Okay. Alrighty, let's move on. So next one. The next comment we have here is stupidity. This is what makes me angry. Stupidity, rudeness, people not really listening to what I have to say. I tend to let it fester inside because it's usually customers for the first two. My partner says I have a lot of hate and anger inside. I guess technically they are one and the same, and says that things won't get better until I learn to be more forgiving. Lisa, that is actually very, very insightful advice. Oh, thank you, Kelsey. I thought that was good. Sometimes I do that. I'll just be like, what the shit was I saying? That's what channeling does for you. So with this comment, this is brilliant because your husband has literally given you some pretty sound advice there with saying that things Won't get better until I learn to be more forgiving. It's not only more forgiving, it's learning to understand the expectations of others. Okay? And I always say the expectations, because that is what literally drives us to hold on to resentment and to hold on to the nasty things that are causing us frustration and so forth, right? So you're around stupid people. Sorry, I don't want to say it like that. You believe yourself to be around people who are stupid or being rude and just not listening to yourself or not listening to what you have to say. So in this, I would just literally say, well, don't expect anything from them. If you don't expect anything from them, like common decency, humanity, and kindness, then when they come at you with being rude, with not listening to your words, you don't react. Because you're like, personally, I expected you not to be, I didn't have any expectation of you. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. How did I deal with this personally? Thank you so much, Delane. That is wonderful. Thank you for joining us today. So how I dealt with individuals personally, because I'm not going to lie, before I woke up, again, very analytical mind, I would look at so many individuals, and not that I was trying to judge, but I did have a little, some issues, okay? I had issues. I'm going to be the first one to admit them. So somebody came around me who was really, really, really just thick. I would look at them like, are you serious? Because when they came around me and didn't listen to my words, or actually even better example, what used to make my blood boil when I was in work was I would go and I would be training an individual, because again, I was an HR training and development manager, and I would travel all over the place and train people. But I was younger. I was still in my early 20s at this time. And you'll have to imagine, you know, a young melanated lady who was on the phone. I sounded like a middle-aged Caucasian lady, so people would take me seriously. But as soon as they came in to see me and they saw like, oh wow, like, hey, am I in the right place? And I'm like, yes, you're here to see me. And then they would immediately look at me in a degrading way in terms of, she doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't, how does she know, you know, because I would literally be the one that would train project managers, department managers, you know, former CEOs and everything. I would train them, okay? So they would come in thinking that they're going to get this, like, oh, this class and so forth, and then there would just be me going, hey, I'm going to tell you what to do. And oh, the way that they looked at me, it would make my blood boil, to the point where I took it upon myself to literally catch them out on their bullshit so that I could prove to them that I was actually worth the words that I was saying. To prove to them that, look, if you don't listen to me, things aren't going to happen the way you want them to. And I'm going to let you fester in that bullshit. However, so I would get pretty pissed off. But now I can genuinely go back to those situations and look at myself and go, gosh, Kulipup, you are being such a fool. Because I had an expectation that the people around me knew my worth, knew my knowledge, you know, knew everything about me, you know, in terms of my skill, in terms of what I could bring to the table. So when they didn't, as I expected them to respect my title, when they didn't respect my title, I got angry about it. But now it's kind of like, well, why would I have that expectation of them? Why? That's not based on truth. Not at all. You know, just think, you go through life in so many different avenues, and you have so many different interactions every single day. You know, why am I expecting people who have been in an industry for so long, who disrespect each other all the time, right? Because Fortune 500 companies and so forth, it's just high school. The mental capacity in there is like high school. You have your own little cliques, you have, which are the departments, you know, people compete against each other, nobody respects each other, everybody just talks behind each other's back. And I expected to be working with adults. So I got angry. But now I look back and I'm like, I don't have an expectation. Right? So get rid of your expectation. Oh, hello, Kira, my little love. Oh, bless her, sweetheart. Thank you, Lorna. That's so wonderful. Oh, Johan, you already know this, right, though? It sucks. So I hope that kind of helped in terms of when you're in stupidity. So don't have an expectation, right? Don't have that expectation. Okay. And then you won't have to learn to forgive people, right? Because there's nothing to forgive. So you don't have any other clouded emotions that come in. Okay. So next question is, I get angry when people question me about my business, when people are disrespectful, when people are in my personal space. I yell a lot. I laugh. I cry. Anxiety attack, then uncontrollable sleep. Wake up feeling like a hangover. Oh, wow, that's a hard one. Not necessarily hard to get over, but it's just hard. It's a hard experience to get through. So again, angry when people question me about my business. All right? When people are disrespectful and when people are in my personal space. Now, this is the thing. When you are getting pissed off about people who are interfering in your life, there's a couple of things that are going on about this. Hi, Ruby. One is, for one, if you've got disrespectful people coming into your personal space, then you just need to, one, remove them out of that personal space, okay? Two, people knowing your business. Now, if you are upset with people knowing your business, and this is not in terms of privacy, I'm not saying that, but you know, like if you were to share with an individual, a friend or so forth, and say, oh, you know, I'm thinking of getting a new apartment, right? And they're like, where are you going to get it in? You're like, oh, in this area. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, that's not a good area. Do you know that you get this and blah, 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 that happened in there? Oh, you're not going to enjoy that kind of thing, blah, 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 blah. And then that individual that you spoke to is then going to get your mama involved, your sisters, and then they're all going to tell your business, and then everybody's going to be telling you what to do. So, to me, that just signifies that there's a lack of control, you know, because your business is your own. You're in control of your life. So why would you get angry when somebody wants to come into your business? Now, don't get me wrong. I am a very, very private person myself. I don't like my personal time when I'm not giving readings or when I'm not... there we go. Sorry, I was just like, please come back. I'm glad I'm still here. Okay, so... where were we there? I was just going through. Literally, my attention span is like a squirrel. Okay, so yes, we were talking about personal space and people being in your personal space. So literally, if you've got people there who are, it's judgment. You don't want people in your space. You don't want to be judged. For one, whatever somebody does, whatever somebody says to you, as it pertains to your own personal life, their opinion has no validity within it. And you've got to remind yourself this. If you're opening up yourself to an individual and they are doing nothing but making this feeling come up inside you, like I'm being judged, I'm losing control of my life, they're telling me what to do, get out of my business, then simply remove that individual for the time being. Because you need to gain more control and you need to gain more of the feeling of being in control. Because I'll tell you right now, like, oh yes, that's what I was saying. I am a very reclusive individual. When I am not doing readings, when I am not managing my group or YouTube or Facebook, or when I'm not doing a lesson, those few hours that I have of my personal time, they are sacred to me, and I don't let anybody impede on them. And if you are special enough for me to offer you my personal time, best know, I know you're not going to be an individual that is going to try to get up all in my business, because I choose it. Okay? So, because you gotta have to remember that people, society has been trained to be in your shit, distracted. So many people are so distracted in life in general that they are constantly looking outside. They are unhappy with their own life and with their own status in life, that they feel the need to criticize everybody else in order to make them feel a little bit better. Or they don't feel better, but they find comfort in the fact that everybody else is like them, because it gives them the excuse that, oh, well, everybody's like this, so I don't physically need to change. There's nothing physically wrong with me, so I'm going to continue to spout my bullshit and bring people down so that we're all the same. All right? But we're not all the same. We're not. We simply aren't. And if you don't like this mentality, simply remove it from your life. And there's nothing wrong with removing it from your life. Absolutely nothing wrong. Okay, so next one was when people lie and be disrespectful, questioned stupidity, simple-minded, not listening to me, and having to repeat myself. I have a lot of anxiety and trauma, especially PTSD, because of this. Well, this does go definitely within the last couple that we were going through there, which is just people lying and being disrespectful. Again, if they're lying, remove them. If they're being disrespectful, remove them. Okay? I want you guys to try to change your perspective. Oh, excellent, Johan, excellent. Hi, Nikki, my sweet. I want you, when you guys look at anger, I want you to change your perspective on it, because anger is a part of fear, okay? Fears are all based on lies. Now, it's up to you to conquer these fears and conquer these lies and live in truth and live in light, okay? So when you are angry, when you are being incited into anger, it is based off of a lie, and it is something that you need to overcome, okay? So again, looking at it like a lesson, all right? Because you're not supposed to stay in anger. If you are around somebody who is lying and being disrespectful, the lesson to you at that point is to remove them from your life. The lesson that has then been learned, okay? So that now when you have anybody else come in and lie and disrespect you, you already know, no, I am strong enough to know that I don't need you in my life, that I don't need to take abuse, that I don't need to hear your lies or hear your disrespect. So you remove them. Lesson has been learned. That way, you will never be triggered to become angry in the first place, because you know what you're doing. You know the situation. You see the pattern in what people are doing and what they're saying, right? So you remove them. Nothing wrong with it. We are so caught up in the bullshit excuse that we need to take this shit from people, because if we don't, oh, you're not good, you're a social recluse, or you're antisocial. And it's like, no, you're not antisocial. You're simply just selecting the people you want to be around. That's all it is. You have every right to select the people you want to be around, and they have every right to select you to be around. Because let's face it, if you weren't a nice person, you can expect that not many people will want to be around you. Same thing. And there's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to apologize for it, and you don't have to make excuses for it. You could just simply say, I don't like being around you. You know, there's so many people who are incredibly respectful to me, because I demand respect, for one, and I don't allow anybody to disrespect me. But if I see that individual who could be perfectly nice to me, if they're disrespecting somebody else, I'll still say the same thing. I'll be like, nope, don't like you. Not going to be around you. Good day. Because I know that the longer I'm around you, the more I'm going to get pissed off seeing you disrespect people. So just remove them. That's fine. All right. So, Vladimir. Oh, sorry. I keep saying names. I'm not supposed to say names. I'm sorry. Oh, Nikki, I am so very pleased. And thank you for watching. And I hope that this will help even more for you, my sweetheart. Yes. And Johan, yes. Yep. Keep up the energy for positive purposes. For damn sure. Right? Okay. So the next comment here was dishonesty and when another constantly attempts to violate my boundaries. Gosh, there's actually quite a lot of there's a lot of the same underlying issues in these comments. Sorry, because I've actually not pre-read these comments yet. I knew they were there, and I'm like, all right, cool. We're just gonna do these on the lives. But dishonesty and when others constantly attempt to violate my boundaries, and I say the same thing. As soon as they come in and they have violated one of your boundaries, you give a warning. See, this is my three-time rule, okay? Because remember, I'm a teacher, and I'm also full of a shitload of confidence, and I know who I am. So, I'll tell you once, all right? Okay, hopefully you got it on the first time. Nope, didn't get it? Okay, that's your warning. So the second time, I'm going to tell you again, right? And I'm going to be a little bit more firm on this time. If I have to tell you something 3 times, I'm out. You know? Because I'm like, that whole third time's a charm, I'm like, nope. If you can't get it once, you can't get it twice. I'm sure as shit not wasting my time on the... there we go, I'm back. Sorry about this. I have my computer hooked up to the Ethernet cable because I rearranged everything, but my phone is not hooked up to it, so it's like, oh crap. Okay, but anyway, let's go into the rest of it. So yeah, I would like 3 times. You're out, man. I can't be wasting my time with that kind of rubbish. Right, okay. Next one. Any anger I have usually derives from not being able to speak my truth or someone hurting my heart without good cause. Normally, I have the patience of a saint, but I've had sporadic moments of 0 to 100 where I can go cannons fully loaded, waiting. Hi, sorry about that. Okay, if I still have you, that's great. If I don't, oh, I understand. Internet. Anyway, so, oh, I have no clue, Joanne. Like, I'm not a good technical person. I tell you that much. Okay, so cannons fully loaded, waiting for the boom. Some inner work has helped, but I'm still looking for ways to make myself snap out of this emotional response quickly and not dwell on the negative it causes because I hang on to shit forever and all it does is keep me in my head and I can't stand feeling like that, but haven't quite killed the pattern yet, though I'm close. Part of it was refusing to take crap. The other is a barrier of the empathy in my heart and putting others before myself. So often I forget that it's okay to justify my own feelings because it makes me feel selfish, which fuels more anger. So it's a weird cycle, but as honest as I can make it. I think that was a wonderfully honest. Oh yeah, definitely, Johanna, it's the Wi-Fi for sure. With this was a very, very self-aware. Thank you, Lorna. This was a very self-aware statement that was made, and I appreciate the honesty and I appreciate how self-aware it was because this is a pattern. Not being able to speak your truth, that is a signification of suppression. You know, like, or somebody hurting your heart without good cause. Again, out of control. These are things which, again, this is the pattern in these comments. You know, not being heard, not following truth when so many people are just living in a lie and you refusing to be in that lie with them. And somebody hurting your heart without good cause. Well, that, sweetheart, that's because you let them hurt your heart without a good cause. You know? With us reacting to it. But it's like you say, inner work, but you haven't quite killed the pattern. But don't worry. You will. You totally will, because you are aware of it. The more aware you are of your emotions and what they do and the anger that you have inside yourself, the more aware you are, the faster you can quit this pattern. And it will be where once you stayed in this moment for hours or days, Then the next time it happens, it is only a couple hours. Then the next time, maybe it's only a few minutes, until the point where the situation happens again and you don't even feel it, right? And it's just completely wiped off of you because you are so in tune with who you are and you have broken that pattern. So that was actually a very, very well written statement. Okay, 2 more and then that's it, I promise. So the next one is animal cruelty every time. It kills me inside, but at the same time creates a rage that feels like I'm spitting pure fire just from breathing. If I see it, things get ugly very quickly. Well, that's good in terms of being angry because you are seeing cruelty, right? Because you are seeing something that is wrong, something that is harmful. And I think it's how you direct that anger in those moments. So I'm going to give you 2 kind of scenarios here. Now, if animal cruelty just makes your blood boil, which it definitely does mine, I don't watch it. I don't watch it like in terms of social media. You know, when people are posting videos of animals being tortured and so forth, or look what these kids did to this and so on, this little animal and so forth. I don't watch those, okay? And there's a reason why I don't physically watch them and why I would suggest that you don't watch them. One of those reasons is, for one, there is nothing you could do for that animal in that situation at that time, okay? So in your now moment, it is actually completely irrelevant to you, okay? So because in that moment it is irrelevant to you, then if you do watch it, you will get emotionally charged. You will start to feel the anger, to feel the rage inside you. However, if you cannot solve that one situation, that rage will be channeled to in another avenue, which isn't a proper avenue. Now, you may be saying, hey, Kulipup though, but I want animal cruelty to stop. If I do not see this, then I'm not aware of it. And then I can't make a difference or I can't make a change. Well, that's a complete rubbish. It really is. You can be totally in control of your emotions and still incite change to stop cruelty from happening without getting emotionally charged and emotionally screwed in that sense. You know, so if I were physically, so that's the one kind of thing. So if it's online, I don't watch it. I don't like to view it and I don't like to react to it. That does not mean that I am not aware that it happens. Okay? Doesn't mean that you're not aware that it happens. Now, because you are not emotionally charged and because I'm aware that animal cruelty happens and that so many other people are aware, we can now think in a very level-headed way to approach the problem, to approach the situation. How do we stop animal cruelty? Well, I know the way I'm helping to stop animal cruelty is to change the hearts of people right now. This is how I'm helping, okay? Because we have to look at it from the seed. Cruelty happens when people are sick in their hearts. All right? Cruelty happens when people are sick in their hearts. Right? So if you cure the sickness in their hearts, you cure the cruelty that they do or that they may action out or carry out. So that's how I'm helping. And I don't need to be emotionally charged or angry or in tears or anything like that for it. I'm in total, complete control and the situation is still being addressed. Okay? So you have that. You have that. The other way you can look at it is if you have this anger because you are physically in a situation where you are watching animal cruelty take place, well, that is anger that is there so that you can use it. That energy that you have gained, that energy that you have challenged, that you have built up, now needs to be channeled in the correct way. And at that point, yes, if I were to see somebody literally beating on an animal in any, I don't give a crap what animal it is. Like, I don't even like to hurt flies or butterflies or like whatever, spiders. I'm like, no, I will carry you out, that kind of thing. So I don't care what kind of animal it is, whether it's, or even if it's part of nature, so a tree or whatever. If I see that happening, I'm going to go up to that person and I'm going to be like, look, what the fuck are you doing? Do you know what you're doing? And I will, at that point, try to stop it right in that moment using my creative energy that I have got, that this energy of change, which is anger in that moment. But if it's not in that moment, if it's not in person, then I'm out. All right? I'm out. Johan, he says, I'm used to mask publication and say that's not my business. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that. You know, the sad thing is that it is our business. It's all of our business. But it's what we can do to make that change happen. But we cannot understand what we can physically do or how we can contribute to making that change if our mind is clouded with anger, frustration, and confusion. Because only when you are clear-headed like this can you understand what you need to do in order to make a difference. Johan, emotion harvesting, exactly. Exactly. If we are in a situation where we cannot change it at that time, your energy is just being produced and just throw it out into space. Throw it out into space. All right? Because that's what's happening. And it doesn't produce anything. It's wasted money or wasted energy. Right? So think clearly and we'll get it going. Okay. The last one I've got here. People in authority that feel like they have power and are more superior because of the job and not in it for the right reasons. Wonderful comment. Absolutely fabulous comment. I really enjoy that comment, and I'll tell you why. The reason why, right? The reason why so many people are, people who don't respond well to authority is because it is inherent in natural law that nobody can govern you. Nobody can govern me. The only person that has authority over me is me. The only person who has authority over you is you. Nobody else can govern you. So your spirit does not like authority because it knows it is false. So you are going to have a false feeling of deceit, lie, of just ridiculousness going forward because your spirit's like, what is this shit that we are listening to? Right? And if you don't make a stand to that, then you continue to listen to that shit. And you continue to abide by that shit. And the more you continue to abide by that shit, the more you realize you're swimming in shit. Right? And it doesn't help anybody. It is stagnation. It does not produce progression or enlightenment. So, people who are in authority, who feel that they have the power or are more superior, if you are angry at them, you need to recognize, for one, that they are not superior. Okay? I don't give a shit what uniform they wear. I really don't care. They could be wearing a judge's uniform. They could be wearing a police officer's uniform. They could be wearing a suit and tie because they're your boss. They could have the little name tag on there that says supervisor. They could have whatever makeup of image or whatever they want to have. If you believe for one moment that they have authority over you because somebody told them that they are your superior, then, my dear, all you need to do is simply switch your perspective to understand that they are not. That they are human and they are equal just as you are. They cannot govern you and you can sure shit not govern them. All you can do is go about your business and live life normally. When you recognize that they have no authority over you, that is when the anger will disappear. Okay? That is when the anger disappears. Because an individual only has authority over you because you have given them authority over you. So just take it back. Take it back. You could literally be walking down the street, and if some random person in plain clothes comes up to you and says, hey, I don't like the way you're behaving. Give me money. Or I don't like the way you're walking down the street, so I'm going to tell you to stop walking down the street and go home. You would look at that person and just be like, who's you? I think not. And they would get you kind of like, this guy, what's he on? But then you would go keep walking because you know this person has no authority over me. You would simply just keep walking. However, put that person in a uniform, let's say a police officer's uniform or a security guard's uniform, and they were to say, hey, I don't like your behavior. You need to go home right now. Your perspective changes. You get pissed off. Instead of going, who's you? I'm going to do what I want to do because I'm not harming anybody, and I'm just simply going about my business. Instead of you doing that, you're going to see their uniform and just be like, wait a second, this is wrong. Why am I being spoken to like this? Why are you coming at me like this? You have no right to do that. So you're going to be feeling that. However, your actions are then going to be like, okay, I will go home now. Because you have been trained and developed to follow authority blindly without looking at the real reason behind it. And living in fear that if you do not follow this authority, that you are literally going to be worse off as an individual, that your freedoms are going to be taken away from you in some way, and that life is going to get harder. But it's a lie. It is all a blasted lie. So, to get over that anger, just look at everybody as equal to yourself, because they are. Every single living organism on this planet is equal to itself. They're all equal to each other. They're the different. Of course, everybody's different. Everybody has their own purpose and their own journey that they're going on, whether that be an animal, a plant, a human, or whatnot. But we're all the same. Our lives are all equal to each other's. And nobody can govern each other. Okay? When you live in this belief, when you live in this perspective, anger doesn't get to you. Because you're just like, screw it, I don't care. You can come up to me no matter what you do. You do not have authority over me. So then you don't get angry. Right? So I hope that helps. Right, my loves. That is all from me today. We went through the anger. I will be posting more, more comments, more topics of discussion. Or by all means, head over to my profile and you can just leave a comment and tell me what you want to hear. What are the things that you want to go through? And then, hey, we'll get everybody's opinion and we'll get this going, right? Okay, because we all need to learn with each other. Now, if you are new and you enjoyed this, this little session that we had here, although it did break up a few times, I have a link to my YouTube channel and also my Facebook group, Frequency 51, if you want a little bit more development and enlightenment and just want to learn a little bit more, about everything, the secrets of the universe and all that good stuff. Then please head over to those links. If you've made a donation today to say thank you for the time and energy spent, then that's wonderful. If you haven't, don't worry about it. If you think this video is going to help somebody else, please share it. Share it. Let's get the word out there. All right? Well, that is it for me. Thank you so much. I wish you all blessings, abundance, peace, health, and happiness and love. All right. Bye, sweethearts.